Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya. In this series of Sri Viveka Chudamani, this is the third part. We have seen earlier about a fit student, so until 17th sloka. So we will start today with 18th sloka. The topic is Sadhana Chatushthayamu. So the fourfold prerequisites. Swami Chinmayananda actually uses a word called the four qualifications. So, sadhananyatra chatvari kathitani manishibhihi yeshu satvena sannistha yadabhavena siddhyati. Atra, in this matter, chatvari, the four sadhanani, manishibhihi, the well-known wise men have kathitani, have told. When these are present, then the result will come in. When these are not present, the result will not be seen. आदौ नित्यानित्य वस्तु विवेकः परिगण्यते इहामुत्र फलभोग विरागान् तदनन्तरं समाधि षट्क संपत्तिः मुमुक्षुत्वम इति स्फुटम. So these four qualifications are sequentially like this. Adau, in the beginning, nitya anitya vastu viveka, discrimination of nitya vastu, eternal and temporary, anitya vastu. After that, iha amutra phalabhoga viragaha, the intention of enjoying the pleasures here, and amutra, otherwise in the lokas like swarga and any higher planes where any promise of any higher pleasures are there, iha amutra phalabhoga viragaha, any enjoyment which is considered temporary need to be given up. That is the second one. Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Samadama, there are 6 divine qualities again. That is called Sampat, or the wealth, the spiritual wealth which is required. And then Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is about an intense desire to get liberated. So these are the 4, and Shankara actually goes into explaining each one. So he is explaining all of them. The sloka 20. Brahma satyam jaganmithyetyevam rupo vinischayah soyam nityanitya vastu vivekaha samudahrutaha. So understanding or knowing that there is an eternal supreme reality which is the truth, and rest of all temporary appearances are delusory appearances, and having a firm resolve in this fact is called nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. Tadvairagyam jagupsaya darsana sravanadibhihi dehadi brahma paryante hyanitye bhoga vastuni. So what is vairagya? The second one is all about darsana sravanadibhihi, seeing and listening, starting from seeing and listening, etc., all the 5 sense objects. Dehadi Brahma Paryante, starting from the Deha, from the body to all the way up to the Brahma, the creator Brahma, who has created everything. Everything, all of these appearances as anitya, they are not eternal. Knowing this, giving up or giving up of the bhogya vastus, all these objects, giving up the attachment or attraction towards the objects is called viraga or vairagya. Then the 22nd sloka, Virajya Vishayavratat Dosha Drushtya Muhurmuhu Swalakshe Niyatavasthaha Manasaha Samavutyate. So, what is Sama? Sama is again and again, repeatedly, looking at the defects of Vishayas, the objects that are getting in contact with senses, they are giving pain and pleasure, both. So looking at this objective contact which is giving pain and pleasure, and understanding this defect of dependency on the object in such pain and or pleasure, getting established in non-hankering of that objects is the sema. Mental peace, the peacefulness, sema. Vishayebhyaha paravartyah sthavaram swaswagolake ubhayesham indriyanam sa damaha parikirtitaha. The external sense control, ubhayesham indriyanam, both type of indriyas. We in the sema predominantly the jnanendriyas, the sensory organs are and the mind are targeted, or they have been taken into consideration. But when it comes to dhamma, the second external sense control, both the action senses as well as the cognitory senses, both will come into the picture. So Vishayebhyaha Paryavantaha, so bringing them back from their natural tendency to go towards their own objects and putting them in control is known as Damaha. So Sama and Dhamma, two of them we have covered. The third one, Bahyanalambanam Vruttehe Esho Uparati Uttamaha. Vruttehe, of the mind, mental vrittis, the functions of the mind. Bahyanavalambanam, so not letting the mental functions work on external objects. Yesha, that is called Uttama Uparatihi. That is the best form of Uparati. That is the third important wealth, spiritual wealth. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. Sahanam, patience, bearing patiently all sorts of pains or miseries that fall on an individual without an intention to take pratikara or revenge on the other person or other situation which is causing such a pain. Apratikara purvakam. This is a very important aspect of titiksha. So this quality is called titiksha. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam. Not having the chinta, not having the mental pain as well. Vilaparahitam, not worrying, not crying about it in front of others, or not crying about it even internally. So there is no cry, vilapa, no chinta, no worry, no sadness, and no revenge, and just taking as they come. So any pains, any miseries, sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. So that is a very important quality of titiksha. Then comes the Shraddha, next wealth. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyabuddhya Avadharana Sa Shraddha Kadhita Sadbhihi Yeya Vastupalabdhyate. So, what is Shraddha? Shraddha is a quality of having faith in the Shastra, what is told in the Shastra Vedas, and Guru Vakya, what has been told by the Guru. These two things have to be taken as absolute truth. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyabuddhya Avadharana Sa Shraddha Kadhita Sadbhihi. So the wise say that having such a faith in the Shrad is called Shraddha. Samyaga स्थापनम बुद्धेः शुद्धे ब्रह्मणि सर्वदा तत् समाधानमित्युक्तं न तु चित्तस्य लालसम. So the next quality is called samadhana. So we have sama, dama, uparama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, and final one, the samadhana. Suddhe brahmani sarvada buddhehe avasthanam. In eternally pure consciousness of Supreme Brahma, establishing the buddhi, the intellect, or the highest level of human consciousness, chittam, manassu, buddhi, mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. In the four anthakarana, in these four anthakarana parts of internal instrument, the buddhi or the core component which takes the decisions or which decides the decisive capability need to be established in the pure Brahma. That is called samadhanam, not the wavering of the mind. Chittasya lalanam. So not just somehow it is like a crying child is there. For that crying child you give a chocolate or something and make him pacify. No, it is not pacification of the mind. Samadhanam is all about putting the mind firmly established in the pure Brahma. So we have covered all the six spiritual wealth or the Samadhi, Shatka, Sampatti. Now we are coming into the final qualification, which is called, so in the qualifications we have covered the Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shat, Sampatti until now. The fourth and final one, Ahankaradi Dehantan, Bandhan, Ajnana Kalpitan swaswarupavabodhena moktumichhaha mumukshata. So ahankaradi dehantan, right from the subtlest part in the antakarana, which is called ahankara or the ego or the I-ness, which identifies I as I. In all the changing mind, body, everything, there is something which holds I as a I, that is called ahankara, and it differentiates I from everything else, that is also ahankara. The ahankara, the dehantan, finally it ends. So the most grossest of the identity I is the body. So starting from the subtlest form of consciousness in the chitta, before the chitta ahankara, then to the grossest of with saptadhatus, what is formed with blood and muscle and everything, the body. Bandhan, all these are the binding factors of this I or the self of the self with an identity, a limited identity, are given by all these factors. Our thoughts, our buddhi, our ahankara, our chitta, all our memories, everything comes into this. Hankaradi dehantan bandhan ajnana kalpitan. All these attachments are created due to the ajnana or the ignorance of the true nature of the self. Swaswarupa avabodhena. So to get to know the, if I am not all these things, what is my original swarupa, or what is my real form? Swaswarupa avabodhena moktum ichha. So to get liberated from all these limitations and get established in my real true nature, such desire, ichha, and very strong desire to do that is called mumukshuta. So this is the final qualification for a spiritual aspirant. Manda madhyama roopapi vairagyena samadhina prasadena guroho seyam pravruddha suyate phalam. There is a very important aspect now Shankara is touching upon. Sa iyam manda madhyama roopapi vairagyena samadhina guroho prasadena pravruddha phalam suyate. So what is most important is mumuksha mokshecha is the most important of these qualities. When that grows bigger and bigger, even the small amount of vairagya and small amount of samadhi shatkas and a little of guru prasada, these things a person will try to achieve. So, of all these four qualifications, starting from Viveka, then Vairagya, then Samadhi Shat Sampatti and Mumukshutvam, the second one and the fourth one are very important. The Vairagya and Mumukshutva. If there is no Vairagya and Mumukshutva, even though there is abundance of Viveka and Samadhi Shat Sampatti, these will not give the result. So that is the key point stressed here. Vairagyancha mumukshutvam tivram yasyatu vidyate tasminnevarthavantaha syuhu phalavantaha samadayaha. Only when vairagyam and cha mumukshutvam tivram, when they are very strong and very powerful, very potent, in there only the samadayaha, all other wealth will be you will become fruitful. Otherwise, it will not be fruitful. Etayor mandhanta yatra viraktatvam mumukshayoho marau salilavat tatra samader bhavana samader bhana matrata. So where there is absence of virakti, means vairagya and mumukshatva, even though the shama and other qualities which are there, they are appearing only, they are only apparent. This is another negative affirmation of it won't work. So there is an example. It says it will be just like the once a river which has flown and it has left a particular pattern on the sand underneath. If you look from the far, you look like there is a pattern and river may be flowing, but if you come near to it, there is no river, there is no water flowing there. So exactly in the same way, from the far distance only, this kind of sama and the viveka will appear for those who don't have the required strength in the vairagya and mumukshutva. So let us touch upon the another next topic which talks about the bhakti. So if there is a lot of confusion about Shankara Siddhanta, people have their own opinions, but Shankara gives a prominent space for something called bhakti or devotion here. He says, this is the 32nd shloka of Sri Viveka Chudamani. Says this, mokshakarana samagriyam bhaktireva gariyasi swaswarupānusandhanam bhaktirityabhidiyate. At the end, for getting the liberation, moksha karana samagriyam, the instruments that are required to attain liberation through this spiritual practice, bhaktireva gariyasi, the devotion, bhakti is the biggest, gariyasi, the most powerful, the big one. Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhakti ityabhidhiyate. So, anusandhanam, connecting with the real nature, true nature, swaswarupa anusandhanam bhakti ityabhidhiyate. What is devotion? Is the ability to connect to the true nature. So, swatma tattvanusandhanam bhaktirityapare jaguhu. There are others who say about swatma tatma, swa atma tattva anusandhanam. So, getting attached or getting devoted to the atma tattva, getting devoted to the paramatma tattva. So, Paramatma has seen as external entity, that is a God. He has seen as internal self, one's own true self is the internal God. We can't exclude Paramatma from the inside. So, what is there inside, that is there outside. So, bhakti is actually attaching oneself with the Atma Tattva or Swaswarupa. With this, we will close today's part. Swasti.